We often look outward to find the reason why life feels stuck, why our dreams seem distant, or why fulfillment feels like it's just beyond reach. We point to circumstances, other people, bad timing, or past wounds. And yet, the real weight holding us down isn't out there. It's within us. It's the quiet, convincing voice that says, I would, but I can't. Because that sentence has many endings, but they all begin the same way, with an excuse. Excuses don't sound like walls. They sound like logic. They sound like logic. They dress themselves in reason and wear the tone of self-protection. I wasn't born into the right family. I didn't get the right education. I don't have the time. They won't accept me. And on the surface, these seem valid, rational even. But they are just stories. And we repeat them so often that we mistake them for truth. No one is denying that life throws challenges your way. Pain is real. Injustice is real. But so is your ability to rise above it. The danger isn't in facing difficulty. The danger is in believing that difficulty gives you a permanent out. Excuses are not about the world. They're about what we believe about ourselves in relation to the world. They are agreements we unconsciously sign with limitation. When you say, oh, I can't, what you're really saying is, I won't try because I'm afraid of what might happen. What might happen. But here is something to remember. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's an invitation to grow. And every time you choose the excuse over the action, you reinforce the lie that you're powerless. The mind loves comfort. It will cling to the familiar even if it keeps you miserable. Excuses feed that comfort. They whisper, oh, stay where you are, it's safer here. But that safety is a trap. And you know it. You can feel it. That quiet ache when you lie in bed at night, the one that says there's more to you than this. That's your truth, trying to break through the excuses. But your life is not waiting to change when everything aligns perfectly. It changes the moment you decide that your excuses are no longer welcome at the table. That's when momentum begins. That's when possibility shows up. And that's when you remember what it feels like to be powerful again. The hardest part isn't starting. It's letting go of the identity that says, I'm the person who has a reason why they haven't started yet. That's what an excuse does. It gives you something to hold on to so you don't have to leap. But the leap is necessary. And the leap is worth it. Worth it. The reality is, no one can remove your excuses for you. People can inspire you. They can support you. They can offer tools, wisdom, even love. But only you can decide that your excuses are no longer part of the conversation. And that decision changes everything. Not because your circumstances vanish, but because your relationship with them shifts. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with this? And when you get to that place, your past becomes fuel instead of a weight. Your limitations become creative challenges. Your doubt becomes your teacher. That's not just personal growth. That's liberation. You are not here to explain your life away. You are here to live it, fully and without apology. The story you tell yourself creates the experience you live. So change the story. Choose power over pity. Choose action over excuse. Choose the truth over the lie that you must wait, or be perfect, or be validated by anyone else. You are not your past. You are not your past. You've been told that before. Maybe you even say it to others. But somewhere deep down, it's easy to feel like the past is a shadow that never quite disappears. It clings to your thoughts, shapes your decisions, and whispers when you're about to take a step forward. Remember who you were. But the truth is, that version of you, the one who fell, who broke, who was betrayed or lost, or afraid, that version isn't here anymore. You are here, right now, and right now you have a choice. Your past may have shaped your path, But it does not own your future. Every scar you carry, every regret, every story you've replayed 100 times in your mind. It all happened, yes, but it's over. You're not living it anymore unless you keep choosing to carry it. The word choose matters here. Because the past has no power unless you give it permission. Painful memories are not chains unless you keep wrapping them around your own ankles. Every time you say, that's just how I am, or this always happens to me, or I've never been able to, you're making the past your identity. But you are not an echo. You are not a rerun of old mistakes. You are the awareness that can create something new. This isn't about forgetting where you've been. It's about releasing the grip it has on how you see yourself. There's a difference between remembering the past and reliving it. The past and reliving it. Growth doesn't mean pretending nothing ever hurt. It means not letting what hurt define who you are becoming. If you failed before, welcome to being human. If you've hurt others, or been hurt, or lost yourself along the way, you're not broken, you're evolving. Experience doesn't make you weak. Excuse doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. It gives you depth. It gives you wisdom. But wisdom is only useful if you use it to rise, not if you use it as a reason to stay down. So many of us wear our past like armor. We think it protects us from being hurt again, from making the same mistake, from being vulnerable. But that armor becomes heavy. In one day, it stops protecting you and starts limiting you. The same walls that keep pain out also keep joy from coming in. To step into your future, you have to be willing to loosen your grip on the story that says you are defined by what has already happened. You're not here to repeat, you're here to rewrite. The people who doubted you, the things that didn't go right, the chances you didn't take, none of them are happening now. Look around, breathe. You're standing in a new moment. And in this moment, you can choose something different, something better. Something honest and alive and aligned with who you know you truly are. Underneath it all, this is where excuses often hide. I've always been this way. I've already messed it up. And people don't change. Those thoughts are borrowed from an old version of you. The one who hadn't yet seen what you're capable of. The one who didn't yet know that strength doesn't mean never falling. It means rising anyway. It means trying again, even if your voice shakes and your knees are still healing. And yes, healing is messy. It's not a straight line. Sometimes the past sneaks in when you least expect it. But don't mistake the return of an old thought as proof you haven't grown. You're not back where you started. You're just being reminded of how far you've come and how much further you can still go. Freedom begins the moment you realize that the only thing keeping you stuck in the past is the belief that you belong there. But you don't. You never did. You are not your failures. You are not your heartbreak. You are not the worst thing you've done. And you are not the worst thing that was ever done to you. You are a living, breathing miracle, one decision away from a completely different life. And when you finally stop letting the past write your script, you open yourself to what you were meant to become all along. Someone who owns their story, but isn't owned by it. The past is not a prophecy, it's a page. You can't turn it anytime. Everything begins in the mind. Every action, every habit, every outcome, it all starts as a single thought. That's how powerful your mind is. What you think, you become. What you believe, you create. And yet, most people live as if thoughts are nothing more than passing clouds, harmless and fleeting. But thoughts are not passive. They are seeds, and every day you're planting something whether you're aware of it or not. The question is, what are you planting? If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, and nothing ever works out, I'm always behind, you are not just stating opinions, you are setting the tone of your life. You are giving instructions to your reality. Because your thoughts don't just stay in your head, they shape your emotions, your energy, your decisions, your actions. And over time, they build the life you're standing in. When you choose to focus on what's missing, what's wrong, or what could go wrong, your world shrinks. Your possibilities close in, your energy lowers. You begin to operate from fear, from lack, from hesitation. But when you begin to shift your thoughts even slightly toward what's possible, something extraordinary happens. Your world opens up, your pace quickens. You breathe differently. You breathe differently. You stop waiting for life to give you permission. You don't need anyone else to tell you that you're worthy of more. You just need to start thinking like someone who is. Because thought by thought, you become either your greatest limitation or your greatest liberation. And let's be clear, this isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's not about ignoring pain or avoiding truth. It's about becoming aware of the story you're repeating and deciding whether it's one you still want to live in. You can think your way into doubt, into procrastination, into paralysis. Or you can think your way into movement, into courage, into clarity. The only difference is what you choose to feed. You've heard the phrase, "You change your thoughts, change your life." It's not a cliche, it's a practice, and it starts with awareness. Pay attention to the way you speak to yourself. Would you talk to someone you love the way you talk to yourself? Would you tell a friend, "You'll never figure this out," or "You're too far behind," or "You don't have what it takes"? Probably not. So why do you say it to yourself and expect to grow? The mind listens. It takes your words seriously, and eventually, it will align your entire nervous system, your habits, your reactions, your patterns to match what you keep repeating. So if you want to change the direction of your life, begin with your thoughts. Catch the excuses. Catch the inner critic. Catch the voice that says, "You failed before, what makes this time different?" And then speak back, not with arrogance, but with truth, with presence, with new language. Try replacing he, why, can't shame them, learning. Try replacing sorry, I always mess this up with this time. I'll do it differently. Because each time you make that small shift, you take back your power. This is how transformation starts, not with the world changing, but with you choosing a new lens to see yourself through. Not with the removal of all problems, but with the realization that you are not your problems. You are the thinker behind the thought, the observer behind the fear. And once you realize that, you stop being the prisoner of your mind and start becoming its master. Intention is everything. It is the quiet force behind every word you speak, every step you take, every result you create. Without intention, life becomes reactive, a series of motions you go through without clarity or direction. But when intention is present, everything shifts. You stop drifting and start directing. You stop blaming circumstances and start shaping them. Most people wait. They wait for the right time, the perfect moment, the guaranteed outcome. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It responds to energy. It responds to clarity. And that clarity comes from knowing what you want, not just vaguely or someday, but now, with presence and purpose. Ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it fear that's guiding me? Is it approval I'm chasing? Or am I living in alignment with what truly matters to me? To me. So many of the excuses we make come from a place of disconnection. We're moving, but not meaningfully. We're busy, but not intentional. And in that disconnection, we lose power. We give it away to doubt, to distraction, to other people's expectations. But when you move with intention, even a small step becomes significant. Even a simple act becomes sacred. You are no longer reacting to life, you're participating in it. You're choosing it. Intention is not a wish, it's not a hope. That's a decision. Loho, it's a decision. It's standing in the present moment and saying, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is where I'm going. Whether the path is clear or not, whether you feel fully ready or not, intention makes the difference between waiting for change and becoming the change. People. When your actions align with your intention, excuses don't stand a chance. Because excuses live in confusion. They thrive in uncertainty. They love when you're unclear. But when your why becomes stronger than your doubt, everything starts moving. It's not magic. It's momentum. And that momentum doesn't need to be massive. It just needs to be consistent. You don't have to know every step. You don't have to see the whole picture. But you do need to know why you're showing up. And that why will guide you. It will carry you through the days when motivation fades, when results don't come quickly, when no one else is clapping for you yet. Because intention is not about how things look, it's about how they feel. It's about how true they are to your inner compass. Without intention, even success can feel empty. You can reach goals and still feel lost. Because goals without soul are just checkboxes. But when you move with intention, even the smallest win feels rich. Even the setbacks teach you something valuable. You become more than someone chasing outcomes. You become someone embodying purpose. This is how you stop making excuses. You stop outsourcing your energy to the external and start tuning inward. You ask better questions. What do I really want to create? Who do I want to become through this process? And what is this moment asking of me? And how can I show up fully for it? That's when excuses lose their grip. Because the energy we were once giving to fear or overthinking or doubt is now being funneled into forward motion, into meaningful effort, into a life that feels like your own. Intention also doesn't mean intensity. It doesn't mean burnout or force. It means focus, presence, a quiet confidence that says, even if I don't have all the answers, I'm still moving with purpose. That kind of energy is magnetic, not just to others, but to life itself. When you carry intention, you stop waiting for a sign. You become the sign. You stop chasing opportunities. You start attracting them, not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. Aligned people make powerful choices. And powerful choices don't leave much room for excuses. So if you're still holding back, still stalling, still saying, oh, one day when I'm ready, ask yourself, are you lacking ability? Are you lacking intention? Because you don't need more time. You don't need more validation. You just need to decide deeply, fully, honestly, that your life is yours. That your voice matters. That your path doesn't need to look like anyone else's to be worthy. Move with purpose. Live on purpose. Let your intention be louder than your fear. How many dreams are buried under the phrase, I'll start tomorrow? How many lives have been paused, delayed, or dimmed by the belief that now is not the right time? We say we're waiting for the stars to align, for circumstances to be perfect, for the fear to vanish. But the truth is, waiting is the most subtle form of self-sabotage. It's the illusion of progress without the discomfort of movement. You don't need more time, you need to stop wasting the time you already have. The habit of waiting is rooted in fear. Fear of failure. Fear of failure. Fear of not being enough. But fear doesn't go away while you sit still. It only grows quieter when you start moving through it. Action is the antidote. Even imperfect action. Especially imperfect action. It's easy to believe that starting requires confidence. But that's backwards. Confidence is what grows because you start. Because you showed up when you weren't sure. Because you took the step before the fear disappeared. Every time you act despite your doubt, you weaken the voice that tells you to stay small. There's no perfect moment. There's only this moment and what you choose to do with it. Every day you hesitate, The gap between where you are and where you want to be grows wider, not because it's getting harder, but because you're reinforcing the habit of not showing up. You start teaching your mind that it's safer to delay than it is to try. Well, that it's better to wonder what if than to risk hearing a not yet. But you weren't made to live in hesitation. You are made to move, to explore, to fall and rise and grow. And nothing about that process is clean or easy. But it's real, it's alive, and it's yours. When you stop waiting, even the smallest step becomes a breakthrough. One honest conversation, one email sent, one page written, one workout completed. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be done. Because motion builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. Belief. You don't have to overhaul your entire life in one day, but you do have to take the first step and then the next. It's not the size of the step that matters, it's the direction. Are you moving toward the life you say you want? Or are you staying still while pretending you're thinking about it? Thinking is not doing. Planning is not doing. Wishing is not doing. Only doing is doing. And the more you move, the more clearly you'll see. Action sharpens vision. It reveals possibilities that only show up after you take the leap. You were not put here to rehearse hesitation. You're here to learn through experience, to grow through movement. Your purpose doesn't unfold while you're waiting. It reveals itself in motion, in trial and error, in the space between fear and courage. You find yourself when you stop trying to be ready and start choosing to be present. You are already equipped with everything you need to begin. You have breath, you have awareness, you have ability to decide. You don't need perfection, you need permission. And only you can give it. So stop waiting for the world to tell you it's time. The world is waiting for you. To lead, to act, to move with faith that your steps will shape the path ahead of you, even if you can't yet see the full road. So start where you are. Use what you have. Take the first step. It's not enough to want change. You have to become the kind of person who lives it. We often say we want better health, better relationships, better opportunities. But we rarely ask, who do I need to become to hold that kind of life? Because the life you dream of is already waiting, but it demands a version of you that isn't hiding behind comfort. Change doesn't come to the version of you who created the problem. It arrives when you choose to become someone new, not in theory, not in fleeting motivation, but in the quiet, daily choices that align your actions with your highest intentions. You can't drag your old self into a new life. You can't cling to the habits, the mindset, the excuses that have kept you stuck and expect something different to unfold. Transformation isn't found in wishing. It's found in embodying. So who are you becoming? Are you stepping into courage, or are you still negotiating with your limitations? Are you practicing discipline, or are you still hoping motivation will carry you? Are you speaking to yourself with conviction, or are you shrinking in the same stories of doubt? Every day, you are rehearsing a version of yourself. With every thought, every choice, every reaction, you're reinforcing an identity. The question is it the identity that serves the life you say you want? Or is it the one that keeps you comfortable in what you've known? Growth is not about doing more. It's about doing differently. It's about alignment. It's about walking your talk, not just when it's convenient, not just when it feels good, but especially when it doesn't. Because that's where the shift happens. In the resistance, in the tension, in the space where your current self is being stretched to make room for who you're becoming. You can't think your way into transformation. You have to live it. You have to behave as if the version of you who already has the results you want is here right now. How would they move? How would they speak? What would they say no to? What would they stop tolerating? Start there. That's embodiment. Because when you align your identity with your intention, excuses lose their grip. They only survive when you're half committed, when you're still identifying with the old you. But when you stand fully in the energy of your future self, even if the world hasn't caught up yet, you're creating from vision, not from memory. That's the difference. Most people live from memory. They filter every new opportunity through the lens of past failures, past disappointments, past fears. But those who transform don't ignore the past, they outgrow it. They understand that it's a reference, not a roadmap. And so they begin to make decisions from the future, from possibility, from alignment. Becoming is not instant. It's not a one-time shift. It's a practice. You don't wake up one day and suddenly feel like a completely new person. But you do wake up one day, look back, and realize you've changed. That your choices have changed. That your tolerance for excuses has changed. That you're not performing a different life, you're living it. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Becoming always is. Because every layer you shed, the people-pleasing, the procrastination, the perfectionism, one less layer protecting you from your own power. And power can feel scary when you're used to dimming yourself to fit into old spaces. But you can't expand and shrink at the same time. You can't hold on to the past and reach for the future with the same hand. At some point, you have to decide, am I committed to who I was or to who I am becoming? To who I am becoming. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need evidence before you begin. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to choose, over and over. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Because nothing is more powerful than someone who has stopped negotiating with their excuses and started embodying their truth. Become the version of you who doesn't need convincing. Who doesn't need perfect conditions? Who doesn't need to look outside for answers? That version is already within you. You Arasun. Waiting, ready, capable. The only thing standing in the way is a story you're still telling about who you are. So change the story, live the change, be the change, be the change. As we come to the close of this conversation, I want you to remember one thing above all else. You are the author of your story, and you hold the pen. The power to create the life you desire lies in your hands, and it's up to you to stop waiting, stop making excuses, and start living with purpose, intention, and unwavering belief. You don't need permission to step into the life you were meant to live. It's already yours for the taking. One choice, one step, one action at a time. As you move forward, I challenge you to ask yourself, who am I becoming? The answer is in your actions, your mindset, and your daily commitment to being better than you were yesterday. Thank you for sharing this time, for listening, and for being willing to explore the possibility of something greater. I wish you nothing but success on your journey. You have everything within you to make it happen. Good luck, and may you walk boldly toward the life you truly deserve. Nahissa?